Welcome to Cravings Control for Fat Loss. I'm your host, Laura Cavallo, former sugar binger, overeater, and yo-yo dieter turned fat loss and cravings coach for hundreds of busy women. Here at Cravings Control for Fat Loss, I'll be sharing mindset, movement, and metabolism strategies for those who are ready to ditch the fat diet cycle and slim down without counting calories, tracking points, or giving up any of the foods they love. Get ready to embrace progress over perfection, grace over guilt, and bring curiosity and learning to the inevitable ups and downs of your life. Expect a decrease in your cravings while seeing and feeling an improvement in how you look, how you feel, and your overall quality of life. I am so excited you're here, boo. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Cravings Control for Fat Loss. My name is Laura Cavallo, your cravings coach, and today I have a very special episode because it's the first time I am sharing with you a client case study. I'm going to be taking you through my client Cassie's journey working with me over the course of 6 months and everything that she not only accomplished at the end of the 6 months, but what her challenges were coming in and what her goals were and what she wanted to achieve during our time together. If you've been listening to the podcast for any amount of time, and you enjoy what I've been putting out there, it would mean so much to me if you left us a 5-star review so we can become more reachable to other men and women who need our content. It literally won't take you more than 30 seconds and would help us out so much. So go ahead and hit pause and leave a review right now, or you can do so at the end of the episode. Thank you again so much. So let's start chatting about what Cassie wanted to achieve when she first came in and kind of where she was at before we started working together. Cassie came to me in September 2021, and her goals were to lose weight, improve her overall health, and tone and tighten. Cassie is a single mom of 2 kids. She's a teacher, and she grew up being pretty active and did some exercises like kickboxing and running, but as of the most recent months, she was not exercising. Cassie is someone that struggled with motivation and consistency. She lives in a colder climate, so it's kind of hard to get out for walks and get motivated in the morning to work out when it's cold and the only thing you want to do is stay in bed. Cassie also struggles with seasonal depression, and that was really challenging for her to get up and do things for herself, whether it's exercise or cook or get active or even see friends. Cassie also drank alcohol 2 to 3 drinks per night, which also affected her mood and affected her ability to want to get up and exercise and also eat well. Her water was generally really good, but she did struggle with consistency with her diet. So she would get up and have a small meal, and then throughout the day, because she was a teacher and really didn't have a lot of time to eat, she would find herself snacking more often on things like bagels or donuts or muffins or things from the vending machine. So she really did struggle with that nutrition consistency throughout the day. And then being so hungry coming home at night, she would end up overeating in the evenings. And when it's cold out and you're struggling with depression and you're also drinking, it's this combination that can really impact your health for the worst, right? When it comes to Cassie's digestion, she was going to the bathroom maybe 1 or 2 times per week. She was having a bowel movement maybe 1 or 2 times per week. So she was not going to the bathroom consistently. And I knew this is something that we had to address so that A, she could feel better, have better mood, better energy. But if she did want to lose weight and focus on fat loss, this is something that we had to remedy right away. So when it came to sleep, Cassie was averaging around 6 hours of sleep. She was struggling going to bed at night. Winding down mentally was really hard for her. And when she woke up in the morning, she felt really lethargic and tired. And her stress was pretty high considering she was a single mom. She had a really busy, demanding job. She was also doing extra work after work. She was shuttling kids around, trying to maintain a social life, trying to maintain a dating life, and all of the other stressors that come with life, right? Travel, finances, family, interpersonal relationships. Cassie reported that her cravings were at their highest when she was really stressed, when she had her period, and that she found herself overeating a couple times per week. And she knows that that was something that was holding her back from reaching her health and her fat loss goals. She found that around her period, she had really intense cravings, really intense mood swings. And this was a big time for her where she fell off track if she was doing any sort of healthy diet or healthy routine. In the past, Cassie had done the program Octavia. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Octavia, but it's a meal plan where they send you like oatmeal and bars and food. And it's a very, very low calorie plan. And she said that she was able to, stick with that for a certain amount of time, but it felt really, really torturous, right? She struggled around the holidays staying on Octavia, so she didn't do it, and she kind of fell off track and would just overconsume. She felt like it was just really stressful to be under eating so much, and once the program was over, she really didn't know how to eat back in the real world, right? She just went back to her normal eating habits. So this past program that she did really didn't give her the tools that she needed to be successful afterwards. And so that's why she reached out to Laura Cavallo Coaching, because she saw that what we were teaching and coaching was sustainable habits for long-term change, so that she could slowly, naturally start to lose weight in a more sustainable manner without drastic changes. And that's exactly what we accomplished together. So overall, Cassie felt really hopeless coming into our program. She felt frustrated and unhappy with her body. She would often use words like cringe at her body in the mirror, or just hate how she looked with the extra skin on her body and the extra loose skin from having kids, and just hated how she looked and would constantly talk down about herself, even during our coaching calls. She knew that alcohol was something that she wanted to start to cut back on. She knew that she wanted to move more and build more strength in her body. She knew that she wanted to improve her lifestyle habits so that she could feel happier and healthier on a day-to-day basis. Things like improve her sleep and reduce her stress levels and just increase her quality of life overall. So when Cassie first started working with me, I identified 3 things that I knew I wanted to work on within the first month. Now, the way that we work things at Laura Cavallo Coaching is we don't just give you 3 or 4 things to start working on at once. We take things one habit, 1 week at a time, and then we slowly build upon those habits so that you are able to integrate them into your day-to-day lifestyle without feeling like it's a drastic change and it's too much at once. So the first goal for our first week was to focus on Cassie's digestion. I wanted to get her having consistent bowel movements, if not every other day, almost every day. So I observed that she wasn't eating as many vegetables as would be ideal. So what we did is I had her introduce a probiotic into her diet, as well as increasing the detox portion of Satisful plates. Her water intake was already pretty high, so I wasn't going to adjust anything with that. But within 2 weeks of starting this probiotic and increasing more detox, Cassie reported less bloating, less discomfort, and just more frequency going to the bathroom, which was a really good thing. Within her check-in form, she even wrote, since starting the probiotic in the morning on an empty stomach, it seems that my bloating and discomfort is significantly less. And she also wrote 2 weeks after that, a month into the program, that she was going daily to the bathroom with a little smiley face. So that was a huge win for us. And this was a scenario of Cassie didn't know how good she could feel going to the bathroom every day until she started going to the bathroom every day. And this is something I see with clients who maybe have never exercised before. Once they start exercising consistently, they feel so good, so energized, so strong, more energy. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know how poorly I felt before I started actually feeling good. I see that also with alcohol. People that drink consistently throughout the week, even if it's just 1 drink a night, maybe their sleep isn't so great. Then they start taking the alcohol away and maybe just drinking on the weekends. They're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much alcohol actually impacts how I feel and how I sleep. I feel so much better without it. So this was a perfect example of feeling good and that hindsight being 2020. The second thing I wanted to address with Cassie was her sleep. Now, Cassie reported 6 hours of sleep, having trouble going to sleep, as well as being tired in the mornings and throughout the day. Now, when you're tired throughout the day, that's a sign that you aren't getting enough quality sleep. So I knew that sleep was going to really be number 2 on this totem pole for us. So in weeks 2 and 3, I talked to Cassie about creating a sleep routine that was going to allow her to get into bed and fall asleep within a certain time frame so that when she woke up in the morning, she was sleeping for 7 to 9 hours. Now, the way that we work this is, for example, if Cassie was getting up at 6 a.m., 7 to 9 hours would be going to bed between 9 and 11, right? If she went to bed at 9, she would be getting 9 hours of sleep. If she went to bed at 11, the latest, she would be getting 7 hours of sleep. And that's falling asleep. That's not getting into bed. So we found a happy medium. Cassie started getting ready for bed at 9:30, okay? And her sleep routine, well, it even started before that because she had 2 kids that she had to put to bed. So sleep routine started at 8:30 with her kids. And then after they went to bed, she started her sleep routine, which was taking a shower, doing some reading, a little bit of yoga if she wanted to, and then in bed by 9:30 reading. And this allowed her some time to decompress and fall asleep by 10. And now Cassie started to create a sleep routine that helped her actually relax and decompress instead of maybe going from the couch right to bed. She was giving herself a little bit of time to relax and rest her mind, quiet her mind, and do something for herself, right? And I see this a lot with parents. From the time their kids go to bed at night to the time that they actually go to bed, that's like time that they relish, right? It's such a special time because it's time for yourself. You can catch up on your shows. You can be on your phone without distractions. You can just be, right? It's quiet. So this time alone is really important for parents. And she really wanted to take advantage of that time for herself. So when Cassie was able to fill her cup up during this hour of alone time, she felt less stress. She felt less anxious. She was able to take care of herself on an emotional, physical, and mental level, which gave her better quality sleep. Some other things that I suggested for Cassie to help her with sleep was to limit alcohol and limit food within 2 hours of going to bed. Now, the reason for this is when you go to sleep, your body is in rest and digest mode, okay? It is doing all the things it needs to do within your body to heal, to repair. If it's spending so much time digesting food that's in your stomach already, it's not going to be able to work on the repair part, right? Where it's working on your brain and it's working on your muscles and all the other areas. Alcohol also disrupts sleep. So that was something that I suggested that she cut back on if she wanted to. And eventually Cassie did start drinking less. But those were 2 things that I suggested is no alcohol or food within 2 hours of sleep so she could have a better sleep routine. We also talked about keeping her room a little bit cooler, having an overhead fan for sort of some background noise if that was more comfortable for her, getting some blackout curtains so there wasn't light coming in from outside. All of these things helped her have a better sleep routine overall. And then the third thing that we focused on that month was just healthier snack options. Cassie was really tempted by the bagels and the muffins and the cookies that were left in the break room at work as a teacher. And I said, listen, those things are fine, right? But are we able to add in some fruits or some vegetables or some lean foods, protein-rich foods that we can snack on in addition to maybe having that cookie at the end of a meal, right? So a really clever solution that we came up with for Cassie was creating little snack boxes that she could keep at her desk as a teacher or eat more quickly in between classes. And think of it as like a charcuterie plate. So you are creating this little like snack plate. You've got some grapes, you've got some hummus, some cheese cubes, you've got some rolled up turkey or salami or roast beef, you've got some crackers, you've got some sliced apples. So now you've got sort of these like bite-sized foods that you can eat consistently throughout the day that A, are nourishing you, B, are helping you feel more full, are keeping you more alert without that crash, right? You know, when we have a cookie 30 minutes later, A, we want another cookie, but B, we're like tired, right? Because we got that sugar crash. So now she was supporting her mind, she was supporting her body with these healthier options. In addition to, you can still have the cookie, but let's start with these things first. And then if you still want a cookie or even half a cookie, go for it. So within this first month, Cassie made tremendous strides. Her digestion was much improved. We had her going to the bathroom daily with daily bowel movements. Her sleep routine helped her achieve better rest and better sleep. So she was more energized for workouts. She was in a better mood. She had consistently better energy. And then we started prioritizing some healthier snack options for her. So she wasn't eating too much at the end of the night, but rather eating more consistently throughout the day. When we got into month 2, we started getting a little bit more pointed on some other challenges that Cassie had in her day-to-day. So during our second month, we started focus on consistency on the weekends. Cassie had done a really good job of starting a movement routine throughout the week, of having healthier snack options, sleeping well, limiting alcohol throughout the week. But now we wanted to do that same thing on the weekends when she was hanging out with her girlfriends or taking the kids on play dates or when she was traveling to see family. So we created some strategies around that. I always encourage my clients to start their weekends off with a satisful breakfast. The reason is the meal that we eat now is going to impact our hunger and cravings for that next meal. So if we start our Saturday and Sunday morning off with a satisful breakfast, meaning lean food, which is a protein-rich food, a detox food, which is a fruit or a vegetable, and then a little bit of crave, you are more likely to crave foods that are similar to that. So protein, fruits, vegetables, a little bit of crave. So by doing this, Cassie created a bit of a routine for herself on the weekends, and she started to bring some more mindfulness to her habits as well because she felt better. So she didn't want to just throw the weekend out the window and go to Applebee's and get fries and burgers and drink and not move at all. She wanted to maintain some of those habits that she was working so hard for during the week. So she started taking the kids on walks and meeting up with friends to go on walks and bike rides. And she did a really good job of keeping that consistency on the weekends during the second month as we ramped up this habit. The second thing we needed to work on was a little bit of strategy around her movement routine. Now, as I've mentioned, Cassie is a single mom of 2. She is really busy and stressed and tired at the end of the days. So she started to leave her workout routines for the end of the day, but she found that she was lacking energy and that things would always come up. Maybe she could pick up an extra shift for work. So she wanted to get up in the mornings, but that extra 30 minutes, 45 minutes when you have long days, it means a lot when you can stay in bed, right? So we really had to just decide, do we want to take just 2 days a week to wake up that extra 30, 45 minutes, knowing it's going to give you more energy, knowing you're going to get that strength in, knowing you're going to make healthier choices throughout the day? Or do we want to maybe save some of the workouts for the weekends? Do you want to do one in the morning and one in the evening? So we really had to work with her schedule to figure out the best movement routine for her so she could be successful. The last thing that we did in month 2 was, with the collaboration of her doctor, we started adding in some vitamins to help Cassie boost energy and boost her mood. Now, because we started working together in the middle of the winter and Cassie did struggle with mood and anxiety disorders, I had a suspicion that her vitamin D levels could be a little bit low. So in collaboration with her doctor, we got her on some vitamin D, also vitamin B12 for energy, as well as a multivitamin. And these things really helped boost her mood, help her be more focused, and just supported her overall health during times of the year that some of these vitamins and minerals could be a little bit lower. I want to share a little excerpt from Cassie's check-in form during our second month of work together. Cassie says, "I'm stressed, but I have still been eating well. Yesterday, I had one piece of candy and practiced mindful snacking, and I was able to walk away and not want any more. I'm on day 3 of my period, so this is a huge win for me. So if you remember from the beginning of this episode when I shared sort of how Cassie came into the program and where she was starting, Cassie did experience really intense cravings and mood swings around her period. And this is something that greatly, greatly improved during our work together. So when we headed into month 3, we started taking a little bit more attention, paying a little bit more attention to her cycle. So we started cycle tracking through the app MyFlow, and it's an amazing app that you can track your period symptoms and rather your hormonal symptoms all month long. So if you're struggling with insomnia or acne or cravings or low mood or low energy, you can track your symptoms all month long, not just on your period. And then within that app, based on what phase of your cycle you're in, it actually gives you recommendations on the types of foods that you can eat to support that particular cycle, the type of exercise that you can do to support yourself during that cycle, the type of brain activities, so like type of work, like are you doing tasks and completing tasks? Are you more creative? The type of social interactions, are you more outgoing or do you need to stay home and cocoon? And also the type of intimacy to engage in during those particular phases. So it's really informative and helps you get more in tune with your body and with your cycle. So that's something that we brought into the fold during Cassie's program on month 3. We also started incorporating some more self-care practices. Again, Cassie has a lot on her plate. So we started doing some gratitude journaling, and I really wanted Cassie to start to love and appreciate herself more. She has so much to be proud of and so much to be grateful for and so many amazing things in her life. But we all know that sometimes it's really easy to look at the things that we don't have or the things that we're not happy about. So every day I asked Cassie to write down 3 things that she was most proud of herself about. And she really started to change her perception around herself and her dialogue around herself and her thoughts around herself. And it really boosted her mood, it boosted her confidence, it boosted her overall quality of life. And she felt really, really proud of these mental health changes that she was making. Also in month 3, we came into the holidays. So we tackled how to navigate the holidays and how to tackle the new year with different cravings and habit strategies, how she would handle being around family, how she would handle the drive up during that travel season, being in the car instead of stopping at McDonald's, or what she could order when she was maybe at these fast food restaurants. We discussed exercise for the holidays when she wasn't in her own home and in her own routine and what that could look like. So we really did take this individualized approach to her life in month 3 by looking at her cycle, tracking her cycle, navigating the holidays with specific craving strategies for herself, and then increasing some self-care just so that she could really start to observe and absorb what an incredible human she is. And so a couple excerpts from her check-in form during her 3rd month. She goes, tracking my cycle continues to be very helpful. I indulge, then stop. I definitely don't find myself overindulging like I used to. This is such a big change for me. I made a healthy decision while eating out this weekend. I had a weekend that was not typical, but I stayed focused on my nutrition and habits, and my nutrition remained excellent. I planned for my travel and made good decisions when I ordered out. So you can see that Cassie really made some incredible changes over the first 3 months of working together. And I wanted to just dive into those first 3 months because our first 3 to 6 months together are really the most formidable. They shape the client the most, right? They're the most intensive. They're the most impactful when it comes to habit change. And at the end of the 6 months, Cassie had incredible results working with us, not just physically, but also mentally. Cassie lost 10 pounds and 10 inches in 3 months working together. She created more confidence with her nutrition choices when she was traveling, when she was at work, over the weekends. She also improved her sleep, right? And her sleep was so tied to her mood, her food decisions, her ability to wake up and exercise in the morning. She had less anxiety and less worry. She also boosted her self-confidence and love for herself. She developed more strength in her body with a consistent exercise routine. And now she is still running. She's still focusing on her nutrition, and she's still taking on all of the habits that we have prioritized throughout her program, like sleep, stress, nutrition, diet, and mindset. So that's a little bit about my client, Cassie. I loved working with her and was so impressed by all of the changes that she took on in our 6 months together. If Cassie's story inspired you and you want to start making changes for the better, I'm currently accepting applications for one-on-one coaching. You can find our application in the resources below. Go ahead and fill it out, and then at the end, we'll schedule a discovery call to see if the program is a right fit for you. I look forward to hearing from you and talking with you soon.